Everybody, welcome to another Radiant Collapse art stream. This is going to be a fun one this week. I was originally, up until last night, planning to do something completely different tonight, and I was laying down for bed. I was thinking about this panel right here that I recently inked over the weekend, I think, and I was thinking, like, all right, when I eventually do this one, I was planning to maybe do it like next week. Okay, thinking ahead, I'll plan on doing this one next week. I'll do this keyboard, and I couldn't sleep, and I kept thinking about this keyboard and like, oh, how am I gonna design it? Like, how are we gonna show like the kind of like the haptic feedback from her typing on it? And I just like kept like designing the thing in my head. I went through like a couple iterations. I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna have like a kind of a circle thing, and I thought about how to design that, and I was like, you know, it would be better than that. Just have the whole key light up. And then I was thinking, well, I should probably redesign the keyboard from what I had before. And so that's where we're going to start. I'll show you kind of what we had, if y'all could see Illustrator, yeah. So we had this before, which was lazy because this is just like grid, and QWERTY keyboard is not a grid, it's, you know, it's staggered. I'm going to create another document and I'll show you. I downloaded a QWERTY keyboard. Oh, sorry. I'm just so excited to do this. I'm I'm skipping everything. I'm Robert Connor, and this is a Radiant Collapse. This is my cyberpunk comic series, and you can watch me every week work on it live here. I usually do coloring and the really fun kind of digital stuff that's more fun to watch. So this is always an AMA tutorial stream. So if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I love to see those questions there. Any questions about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, or to explain how I'm doing it. I love that. It gives me something to talk about. So hope y'all will throw those questions down in there. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I downloaded a kind of a QWERTY keyboard layout from Wikipedia. And here it is. Okay, so like I was saying, it's not a grid. Like the keys are staggered. I started reading the article about how the keyboard was designed, and then I was like, I do not need to go down this rabbit hole like 5 minutes before my stream, so we will probably pick that up later tonight. And then I'll know why that it's designed the way it is, because that's interesting. But what we're going to start off with doing is we're just going to box this in with lines, and that's going to let us get to the next step. So, and why we're doing this, we're making one of these, and then we're going to warp it into the space, and then we're going to reuse it for other keyboards later. So the rationale is you make the design once and you use it repeatedly, so it's efficient. So right now I'm just drawing the keys in. Let me know if y'all can hear me, if there's any issues with the audio or the music. I seem to have a different issue every week. So last year it was the camera. The week before that it was my audio. Or it was my screen capture last week, and it was the webcam the week before that. And sometimes it's my Cintiq, who knows. And let's see if I can just grab all these. The Alt tool, you select everything and hold down the Alt key, and that will let you make a copy of everything. And look at these, they're the same distance apart. I don't know what this is. What key is this? Alright, the enter key should be big. Shift key should be big, bingo. Alright, cool. So once we get all the lines in, we're going to convert these to blocks. So I'm thinking about the negative space inside of this. That's what I want. But to get there, I want more separation because this is too thin. Once this gets really small, it's just going to blur together. So we're going to thicken this. So we want the lines to be on the inside, and we're going to make these thick, really thick. And I want to make sure that's even. That looks good. All right. I like that. So in order for this to work, let's put another color back here. Does it matter? We'll do that. All right, we got a nice like grenade or turtle themed keyboard here. All right, and we are going to outline stroke, and then we are going to pathfinder divide. This is Adobe Illustrator, by the way. Now I can ungroup everything, so it's going to automatically group after the divide. And then I'm going to hit, I've got a shortcut for this, but I'm just going to select same fill color, which is going to select all of the green, which is what we want. And we don't need this reference anymore. We also don't need these anymore. We'll get rid of that, and we've got a keyboard. Bingo. So this is what I want. You know what, actually, I always like to leave checkpoints. So I'm gonna make a copy of this, just in case later we're like, oh man, that line wasn't quite thick enough. We can come easily back and change that. Which we're probably gonna have to do a little trial and error, so. We're gonna actually put this on another layer though, so it's not gonna get in the way. Lock that. Now we'll select same fill color, get rid of that, hide that, paste, and we've got this. All right, we can go ahead and, we don't want this to be green though. Let's let's go ahead and take care of that. Let's see. What the heck do I have going on here? I did some like color scheme works with a lot of different entities in this comic have their own color scheme. It's how I kind of, there we go, here's one. How I kind of just differentiate between different parties. There you go, all right. And this is a newer document. If I had a QWERTY keyboard here, I'd be mad, but it doesn't look like I do, so that's good. I don't know if I want to do a gradient or not. Maybe, but if I do, I need to make this a compound path. Otherwise, each one of these would be its own gradient and it looks stupid. I think this 45 degrees, negative 45 degrees, so we'll match that just so it's coming from the corner to corner instead of straight across. Do I want to label the keys? I think that might be too much. All right, let's just go ahead and save this for now. Thanks y'all for popping in. If you have any questions, let me know. Say what's up in the chat. How y'all doing tonight? We'll put this under computer screens. This is going to be, we'll just call it QWERTY keyboard. We're going to call it QWERTY keyboard. Alright, we're going to boot up Photoshop, and we're going to make a PNG out of this. I can do that from Illustrator, but I don't trust Illustrator making PNGs. And for y'all just joining us, we are working on this scene here. We're designing this keyboard to put into here, and we're going to do some haptic feedback on the keys that she's pressing. We'll see how they line up with her hands. That might be another struggle that we've got to work with. Nope. All right, we're going to make this 600. That's pretty good. All right, I'll crop this in so we don't need all this. Alright. Nice like bubblegum theme here. Alright, we will save as a PNG. Hey, thanks for dropping in, Joel. Thanks for coming back. I read your message. I hadn't had a chance to respond to it yet. But I hope your Parasite Eve stream has been going well. Alright, we're going to put this in our folder since we're using it with page 2. So we'll call it QWERTY keyboard pink. That's what it is, and we'll see how it works. Before I do that, actually, let me see. I want to load this selection. How do I do that? Save selection. Alright, I think this will make a new channel. Sweet, never actually done that before, but that's helpful. Alright, this is going to help us later. But we're going to run my action on this. Screen distortion. And let's see how that looks. We're just going to run everything. Alright, this needs to be like way bigger. There we go. How about 400? That's good. And I want to get rid of all this shift. Alright, so what this did is it gave us some like kind of liney looking stuff. What happens if I invert this? Nothing. Cool. How about this one? Not so much. Alright. Alright, so we're going to go back to the channel that we just did. We're going to load this. I want to load it. There we go. Load that as a selection. What I'm doing is I want to select the inverse, and I want to get rid of all this liney stuff that's not in. So get rid of the noise. Get rid of, hold up. There we go. That's what I want. I want to get rid of it outside. Okay, maybe I can rasterize this. It's doing a bunch of stuff I don't understand. But I bet if we flatten it, or get rid of that. Get rid of that. And there we go. Cool. So now we've got kind of distortion on the actual keys. I don't know if that's what we want. We'll see. But we're gonna save this as a PNG and we'll go from there. I'm thinking if it's a projection, you're gonna have some like background that would be noisy too. It's not gonna stop like right on the keys. So let's go back a few steps actually. Just thinking my way through this. So let me take this color here. We can double, hold on. We can, there we go, copy that hex code. And I think down here, we're gonna paste our hex code first. Now we'll put that down there, and I think we're gonna make this one like really, low opacity. So that way I've got some like pink, kind of like some spillover projection, and the distortion's everywhere. So I'm just gonna flatten it real quick just so I can see how it would look over white. What I'm checking is if there's enough contrast. If I'm doing this sorry, I'm just like thinking out loud. Hey, Pandamatics! Thanks for dropping by. I'm glad you could make it. We're making a hologram keyboard today. This is a fun one. I'm kind of like bumbling my way through it and stream of consciously talking my thought process through here. My concern right now is that this nice gradient that we have here from the dark pink to the light pink, there's not enough contrast over here. It's going to look lost, and so maybe I should just go with a solid color instead. It looks nice here, but I think we should just go with this for everything. Get rid of, don't want it to be a gradient anymore. There we go. So let's do another one. Let's try this. And let's see, let's make this that. All right, so we'll run our action again. And this was 450 last time. All right, we don't want that or that. All right, hold on. I think I messed up somewhere. We're gonna try this over again. I think because I copied and pasted it, it's behaving differently. All right, let's try this again. There we go. I don't know what happened to the last one. All right, I want to get rid of these extra channels. Bingo, just keep the original. And we don't still have that pink selected. And we don't have it highlighted either. All right, let's get that hex code. And we'll copy it over here. I know it wasn't a hex code before. Calm down, Photoshop. All right, and we made that like 15%, something like that. All right, Photoshop. All right, I'm gonna flatten this real quick just to check that pink. It's really. Yeah, let's go up a little more. Also, this is a little heavy. Yeah, I like that better. All right, cool. Let's give this a shot. How you been, Pandamatics? Been a long time. Let's save a Photoshop of this one. Let's see. Pink keyboard 01. Probably gonna have a couple of these, so. All right, we can go ahead and save our PNG now. Now we can get into business. So we've got this. We're gonna kind of see how it works here. And then we'll probably go back to our original file. We'll figure out which keys she's touching, and then we'll edit our original file, repeat the process. I know who you is. Yeah, I'm super glad to see you on here. And just to talk to you in general. Well, we always appreciate lurkers here, so if you need to pop in for a few minutes, that's all good. Got a couple files called keep. File import failed. Hold up. Oh, you're not done. Alright. Take your time, Photoshop. We don't have like an audience waiting, patiently or anything. Alright, and we always rasterize our imports into Clip Studio immediately, or else bad things happen. Alright, so right off the bat, all that noise is making this look kind of gray, and I don't know about that, so and we'll free distort this. So this is what I would do to get it into this space, and I should have put this below. Let's put this underneath her first. That way we can see what we're doing. Thanks. Yeah, this is a heavy, like a heavy design stream, which makes it really fun. Sometimes I'm just coloring for 2 hours, which is also cool. But this one does have a little more magic into it. All right, cool. So that's looking good. I like that, but we're gonna make some tweaks. Let's go ahead and accept that. So what I don't like is the noise is making this look really gray, and the lines are too. So we might go back to our original idea of deleting everything that was not the screen, not the keys. And we might do something else. We might do something just in here to give it some like pink projection type look thing, and I'll probably do something up, you know, coming like projection from that way down. So, so this is good. I'm going to light up the keys that she's touching. So probably this one. This is where I want to tag in chat. Chat, remember the keys that we're usually gonna have to do them one by one. So third row, we got the shift key or enter key, then 1, 2, 3. We'll do 4 over. Enter. Oh, all right, we got it. Ungroup these. Sorry. Oh, it's still a compound path. Let's release that. All right, now we can select individual keys. All right, we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4 over from that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go for probably more than that. I might even go like pure white on this, or like a very light pink. Yeah. So basically, the idea is that like as she's hitting the keys, it's like giving her a haptic feedback by changing colors, and I thought that would look cool. So let's see, kind of like up from there. That one. Yeah, that one. And let's see, let's do like these two. So diagonal and then over. So these two. And if I wanted to really get fancy, I might make some of these like slightly darker, like the effects fading over time. But I don't know if that's just like way too complicated. I think that's too complicated. People are gonna be like, what? All right, we'll go with that. We'll see how that works. Now this is where I should have just imported this. I know I made it 5x3, paste. I brought it in a little bit. All right, we'll go ahead and do the, oh crap. Nice. All right. I wanted to load that selection again. However, I did that last time. Let's see. All right, so we've got that. That's good. All right, now we can. I don't want this to be a smart object. I don't know if that's an issue. F. Abandon ship. Start over. That made a new, oh, it's a smart, I edited the smart object. This is getting into like the fringe of my Photoshop knowledge. The stuff there we go, rasterize that. And we still got our channel there. All right, cool. We're gonna run that action again. It looks like I made a lot of steps, so let's see if it screws it up. And 450 worked well for this. And we don't want any of those for this. All right, so let's get rid of the, okay, I didn't mean to do that. Get rid of that. See if I can rasterize. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna get rid of that entirely. I like that. Okay, yeah, so we're just getting rid of that. I like it a lot better. I'm gonna flatten everything to see if we got anything else going on. We do. Let's see. It's not directly editable. Let's see. You know, it's fine. We'll just flatten everything. And then get rid of that, and we're good. So I don't need to save the Photoshop because it's just a flattened image. We can't do anything with it, so might as well just save the PNG. Should have saved the Photoshop like a step ago. That would have been helpful, but we didn't. So that's fine. We're gonna wait 10 minutes for this to save, and then we'll put it back where this one is, and we'll try to match them up exactly because we kind of liked that. I'm gonna go ahead and hide my, while we're waiting, hide my storyboard so that cleans that up a little bit. And I've got some sound effect sketches that need to go. I need to find those. That's my favorite game. Find the layer. We play it often. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna call this sketch sound effects. All right, you done? You done? Sweet. All right. We will put in the other one. So this is keyboard 2. Rasterize the layer. I think this is gonna look cool. All right, so we don't have the like gray boundary anymore, so we're lining up the keys themselves. Should have lowered the opacity so I could see it better, but I didn't. So, and I'm kind of using the box here. When I do this, you're like distorting something to try to match perspective, some P word. And so you're just trying to make this box look like a plane that's flattened out into space. So I kind of just do it by feeling what looks natural. Yeah, something like that. All right, let's get rid of that, see how this looks. Dang it, I don't like it. So I've got a perspective ruler in here. I need to look at these lines is what I need to be looking at. So we gotta undo all that. All right, going back a step, so we are rasterizing again. Oh, dang it, it's upside down. I was saying when I just started the, that looks good. When I was starting the stream, I was saying I was actually, when I was falling asleep, I couldn't fall asleep last night, and I was just thinking about designing this keyboard and how I would do it. And so that's why I decided to do it for this stream tonight, because I was originally planning to do this next week, but I was like, you know what, I've got such a clear vision for this. Let's go ahead and do it. Cool. I think that perspective looks better. It's still matching up with her fingers, so that's good. Before we are going to be able to tell, or we can get rid of that sketch. Call this keyboard sketch. Before we can go any further with this, we're going to have to color this environment. So that's going to let us know how bright the keyboard needs to be, all that kind of stuff. So let's start out with that. So we are gonna pick a kind of a warmish gray. And I don't know, probably needs to be a little lighter. I'm gonna go ahead and put my texture in here too, because that'll help, I think, a little bit too. I think this is what I use for concrete. So actually some photos I took of concrete pier, and they work pretty good for ground. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the keyboard. We're going to warp this to space so it seems a little more realistic. It's not like a flat plane, it's a ground. It's not as critical, the perspective on this one. But you do want it kind of receding away. So that's what's going to make it look realistic, like a ground. A ground. I think the more extreme we can get that angle, the more it's going to look three-dimensional. Let's do that. Alright, and we're going to change this to overlay. Hey, Dr. Deep Gray, thanks for coming. And we're getting the old crew back. I'm loving it. Thanks for coming out tonight, guys. Alright, so we've got this overlaid onto our gray here. Yeah, we don't need it to be 100%. That's the issue. I was like, what's wrong? It's been a while since I've done this. We'll start with that. And we'll probably do some... We'll do a little this. So we've got maybe, you know, a light coming from over here, something like that. It's too much. Yeah, man, look at this crew. Look at this crew. Happy to have you guys here. Yeah, we are doing a holographic, not holographic. I keep wanting to say holographic, and I've managed to not say it in all of the things that I've been typing today and in the intro and everything until right now. We're doing a hologram keyboard. There it is, ba-boom. We just threw the ground down in there. I'm liking that. I like that a lot. Alright, let's hide all this for a minute and let's get Roz some skin. We just colored in this environment, I think it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. It was the stream you were here, Butts. So we're gonna steal her skin tone from that because we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. So let's grab that. Get our flat layer, and nope, we need our refer other layers button on. This is what happens when you don't have that. This is what happens when you do. Boom. All right, fill in the holes here. I think her nails are like just slightly off of her skin color. I don't think I've done that yet, so we're gonna do it right now. We're just gonna make it slightly redder. Let's throw this back here so we can get an idea. I like that. Actually, might be a bit too much. Like, Roz probably wouldn't do her nails, but I want her to look like a little feminine. Like, you know, everyone's got like a little pink in their nails, actually, so. Maybe like that. Just slightly off. Slightly more saturated. We're splitting hairs at this point, ladies and gentlemen. This is, y'all can't even see that color change. I could barely even see it. I gotta remember. So I've messed this up on the past 2 streams. I've been checking color here, and this screen is touch sensitive. It is not color accurate. This screen is color accurate, so I need to be looking here for if things look right, and not here, because I've just been glued to this screen the past 2 streams. Now I look over here after I'm like completely done, and I'm like, oh well, that looks like not what I was thinking of. The screen is like darker, and so everything looks more saturated, and so if I'm not careful, I'll just be drawing everything too light because I'm looking at the darker screen. Yeah, see, this is like way too light. It's alright, we can just gonna go a little darker here. I'll leave that on so we can see it. There are some like street lights going on, so that's fine. And this is her highlights, so she'll have shadows too. Alright, put that sexy keyboard back on here. I'm really liking how bright it is. I might keep it like that because it is projected light, so it will have a degree of like shine to it, like more than it normally would if it were just like a piece of plastic there. So I may keep it like that. Let's actually make our lives easier and put this under here. Now we don't have to erase all that. That looks good. Alright, so our light source is back here. We've established that. Let's play that up a little bit. A little warmer. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna play. We're gonna do a little bit of glow. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the airbrush and I'm just gonna kind of dust this in, and we're gonna scale this back a bit when we're done, but I just want to get this in here. Let's see, I think if we change that, oof, no. So I think I like the coloring so much here. What if we put it down here and lose the blending mode? Let's copy this. I really want like a kind of like a motion blur. Let's see what we can do here. We got an angle. Oh, this is limited. Oh, here we go. Here's the angle. Come on in. You know, I could use this for projection too. Like have it coming off this way. That's crazy. Dial that way back. Or dial it all the way up. And then your projection's done. I might keep that. Let's see what that looks like. But we're going to put that either like really low or underneath the other one. Kind of loses some of that. Might have to like selectively erase some of this. So I don't think it's doing us any favors here. Under these like haptic feedback keys. Hey! Thanks for coming, Rush fan. Glad you're lurking here too. Awesome. Got our whole crew. Got our regulars and then some new friends as well. Alright, now that I'm seeing like the light generated from this, I'm thinking her nails need to be a little bit lighter. Let's see what this looks like. Can't see it. Okay, like that. All right, let's do some light dusting right here. All right, so we're gonna do, let's go ahead and shade her from the main light, and then we'll go back and do a little glow from the projected light from that. Let's go ahead and save, that's a good idea. Where are my shadows? Oh, that's interesting. I did it the other way. I did highlights instead of shadows, so. Show, that should be fine. We could do it this way. Alright, so now we're coloring. So our light is coming from this way. Let's switch to this. So, oh, hello. Ah, there we go. These are underneath, so they'll get shadow. That too. That's pretty good. I like that. Oh, dang it. Let's get rid of this. This was on the layer that I claimed for cell shading. Now we might leave it like that. Alright, now her nails look super bright, so we're going to do a separate layer just to shadow them. Something like that, multiply. Too much. Yeah, about there's good. There we go, now it doesn't look like they're glowing. That looks natural. Cool, we need to shadow the ground. We could probably do that on this same layer. Let's get rid of our texture, because that's just gonna mess everything up. Oh, two similar color. Let's do All right, now remember, this is projected light, so her shadow is gonna be here too. All right, we gotta get rid of the keyboard too. I'll turn all this back on, see if we're on the right track. I think actually all of this would be. I'll hide all that again. Something's weird about this shadow, but I'll probably get rid of this. Okay. I gotta title this or I'll think it's nothing. It's glow. This is blur keyboard. That's cool. I am liking this. All right, Joel, thanks for dropping by. Or Joe, is it Joe? It's a Joe 1, right? I keep reading that as an L. Thanks for dropping by. Smash ahead to AFK. You missed coloring the hands, I think. And we did this blur, I think, before that. And now we're about to do some underglow here. So, because this is a light source, so we'll get some coming back from the other direction. So we'll do that here. This will be another glow layer. So we'll grab our pink, get an airbrush, and let's see. I wonder. That's going to be too much. Put this above the line. Oh, that looks instantly better. The lines are part of her, so the glow should be over the lines. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. We've got a great crew here. Let me know if you guys have any questions or throw anything down in the chat. Now, I did this thing in chapter 1. I'm going to show you guys. For those of you that haven't read Radiant Collapse chapter 1, here's a little preview. But I did this thing right here that I really liked. It kind of makes it look like the projection is coming from this device here. And what I did is I basically just took this scene here and just like distorted it just like I did with the keyboard, just like I did with the ground. And it just made these wonderful like stretched color lines. But you have to have pretty much like a finished thing for that. So what we can do we can try it with the keyboard because we're projecting the keyboard. So let's give that a shot. Let's see. And we just like distort the crap out of it. Rasterize it. Alright, we got a fairly large size to start with, which is good. Now we've just got to make this like really crazily. See, it's almost got to go to a point. It would be the other way. So this would be coming from a point. I think this is just too simple. It's not working, it's just becoming lines. Yeah, you need something a little more complex, I think, for it to work. I mean, I'm liking these colors I'm getting. This reminded me of the, what do they call the thing in Thor where they take the like rainbow bridge? Oh, now we're getting somewhere. The angle is wrong though. We're gonna have to go like, because let's see, we established kind of a this angle, but it's not looking like crazy distorted from there. We're not gonna be able to use all this. I want to get just like one of these bands. Let's try that. Alright, get rid of that, and then what are we gonna do here? Let's lower this, see if it's working. I don't mind that, it's just it being low. I'm gonna have to obviously like delete some of this. And this we could probably like add glow. Nope, too much. Like way lower. And then, oh, no. I want a soft eraser. So we could just kind of dust around here, get rid of the stuff like around her hands. She's kind of interrupting this projection. The light would be blocked here, so wouldn't be anything. How about that, guys? How about that? Is the pink in the keyboard something Roz customized or the standard key color? Yeah, so this is definitely like Roz's proprietary UI. So she's a hacker. She's completely customized all her stuff. So she's it's all pink. The government stuff is all yellows. The Kunriks is all reds. And then there's an individual that you briefly witnessed in chapter 1 that you'll meet again here. His is all, his or hers is all purple. It's still like a bit much. Cool, I like that. I think that's good. We'll add our texture on top of it and we'll call it a day. Now I'll probably wait on the texture because that's what makes these files like really heavy. So we'll have a day where we just go through and texture everything. It'll take like 5 seconds and then take 5 minutes to save. It's a cool last final touch though. Should I show you guys one? Let me know if you guys want to see a texture. Let me know in the chat and I'll throw one down. Alright, so we are just under an hour in. We're done with the keyboard, so loving that. So I'm probably going to work on anything else that's in the same lighting environment. So I can do any of these other RAWs panels. So I'll probably start on these down here, and let me know if you guys want to see a texture. All right, let me hide this text. That's just going to get in the way. All right, cool. What we got here? We got, right after I collapse these layers, I've got a line here. Now, Butts, when I had you on Monday, we talked about how kind of the anime manga convention is letting the eyelashes be seen through here. I kind of backstepped on that a little bit. I think you can see them through there, but having it colored just looks like a mistake. So I think either go with them completely blocked out like you would normally, or just maybe see like a veiled version of it. So I think I'm kind of going with that now. So we'll leave these lines intersecting here, all that to say that, and we'll kind of see how it looks. All right, we know our colors, so we'll lay down our flats. You know what, let's go back and do this the way that we did these. We'll do the base color, and then we'll do the screen again, so that'll do everything automatically for us. Here. But that means I have to draw light in again, which was a real pain last time. But it'll help me with these clothes and stuff. So if you have the refer other layers on, makes it super easy to color like this, where you could just kind of click. Not perfect, obviously. You got to come back and fix some of these things, but saves hours. Literally tons of time. So flat is my kind of slang for just a flat color, not as opposed to a highlight or a shadow. So when the flats are done, she's just going to look like this with flat colors, no highlights, no shadows, just solid colors. So it's step one of doing a cell shading drawing. Yeah, keep the questions coming. I love having stuff to answer. So, chat, if you got any questions. Feel free to keep throwing them down. And the most dangerous thing is when you're on your line art layer, making a little change to a little hair that was left over, and then you stay there for your coloring and forget to go back to your color layer. There's no real saving that. You gotta go all the way back. Do you ever do that, Robert? Yeah, about every page. No. Eraser, please. Oh, see, I almost did it. I almost did it. Sweet. Okay. All right. So we haven't colored her jacket in this light yet. So let us throw down a background. Now she is. Now I've got to think about where she is in space. The sidewalk's over there. She turned around to hack. It's probably a sidewalk back here. But do I even want to deal with that, or do I just want like a dark color there? Sometimes you get like, do you want to put more detail in, or do you want simplicity? So like realism over like graphic simplicity. So it's kind of a toss-up sometimes. It wouldn't take a lot to do the background. It'd be really easy. But is it going to be more distracting if I have that there, or is it going to be cool and immersive? If you say cool and immersive, I'm almost always going to go for that. See, she's low down. So you're gonna see less of the, yeah, you're gonna see less, but it's gonna be higher up. And then I have to deal with all this. I want to get down on that. It definitely gets more compressed, and it goes up higher, which is what I'm doing. I don't think it's quite that compressed though. Maybe something like this. Also, I'm doing these lines in gray or brown. That's just not what I want. Okay, I like that. We'll get rid of the lines that overlap with her hair. And we will get rid of that, sample a color like here. And we're gonna go ahead and rope in this area, get rid of our refer other layers so that we can dump all that here. The sidewalk is gonna be a little bit lighter of a color. We're gonna turn this back on. Too much. So we go somewhere in between. that. Maybe something like that. It's looking too brown. Okay. And then I'll probably dust in some lighting in here. Oh, I wanted that on a different layer so I can manipulate it. Let's do that, and we'll get rid of that for a minute while we do our flats again. All right, cool. So this is the shadow. Interesting, she looks too red here. Let me put this back on screen. I'm looking at the wrong dang screen again. Y'all gotta call me out for that. All right, how's this looking? So that is the shadow. So we might need to adjust that a little bit. That dusting thing blows your mind. Oh, we're just throwing in a little just a little bit of a really bright, a little bit of a color variation. Adds a little interest there. Alright, so she's got a jacket. Let's look at the. So yeah, kind of a like a gray black jacket with like a purplish tint. So we're on shadows right now, so it needs to be darker. Might be a little less saturated. Alright, shadow on this will be almost black. A bit darker than that. Keep this, it's probably fine. Alright, let's do her background, her eyes. I do a separate layer for this, and I'll show you why in just a minute. We could probably steal this from here too. If we're doing... That's fine. So this happens when the background color is there. It'll throw that outline around it sometimes, which is a pain. And you can get rid of that by getting rid of the, like turning off the other color layer you have. But sometimes it's just like not really worth it. You just, whoop. It does look real trashy though if you don't fix it properly, as you'll see those artifacts and stuff. Alright, we might as well do her eyes while we're at it. Where did I put my, there it is. Alright, so, my thing, alright, so if you put the eye color behind the eye background, so the whites of her eyes are on top, and then you do your eye decoration layer. So this is the highlight on her eye. If you do this also below the eye background, then you can get a circle like that, and you can see it's automatically masked out by the eye white. You got to erase it on this part, but it makes it a little bit easier. Uh-oh. Autosave. Where'd you learn that eye trick? Oh, that was just a lot of, like, eyes get a lot of focus in, like, anime style art, and so it was just a long time of trying different things, and I still don't know if I'm on my final form of eyes. I think this looks decent, and it's easy to replicate, so it's good for comics. You need something that can be done quickly. So that you can do it like 50 times in a chapter, more than that. Yeah, so if I do like a glamour shot that's like a close-up, then I'd love to have like a more detailed eye approach, but I'm not there yet. I'm not sure exactly what I would do beyond this. Alright, so let's go ahead, we'll go ahead and put her shine on here. Get your shine on. Is that a song? So this is one of the few things I use pure white for. I reserve like the real bright colors for things that are like glowing or casting, like creating light, which helps make everything look more realistic to me. I don't like it on the This looks weird. Not you. Well, at least the more match like the other one. Alright, now back to our highlight layer. So this is where we're going to start. So other than the eyes, this is what I consider a flat. So everything is just one solid flat color, and this needs to be a color. That's the inside of her jacket. Alright, so now we will do our highlight. So again, we're going to steal that from here. Let's this color, but change to screen. So I'll make sure we check this to screen. It's also 100%. Now we've got to draw in our shadows, but we're working the opposite way. So light source is coming from back here. She's mostly in shadow. She'll probably have some glow from the screen she's working on, and I'll probably have one in the foreground here. Well, in that case, we do that. All right. Oh, I probably will make the light pink, so which will change the highlight color. I don't have a computer screen designed right now. I would want some kind of like layout for that, so I can't do that right now, but I can imagine what it would look like and modify this color. I'm just gonna throw in big areas to see what I think would look like. So you can imagine if that's like, I think that could work. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, a little more saturated. I like that. Let's go with that. All right, so we'll pretend that there's like a monitor right here, and we're gonna shade her accordingly. This is like one of the most challenging things working on this is to shade. Where is the light hitting and where is it not hitting? Oh, let's get rid of, because we're going to have to do that a lot. So let's get rid of these. Change this to normal. Which is tough because it's like one option makes it easy to shade and the other option makes it easy to see if you're doing it right. All right, we got to remember to color her eyes too. Let's go ahead and turn this back on so we can see how it's looking. Ew. That's better. Just looking really flat with that much for head illuminated. Probably gonna make some decisions here. Let's see, then you gotta follow like their jaw structure and all this crap. That actually looks pretty good for a guess. And then there's usually shadows under the like eyelids. Soften that. Oh, I think this is the light color. I did it backwards on the eyes, so we'll shade them instead of highlighting them. I don't like her nose. Maybe it should be less. So I gotta deal with this volume here. Oh, that's not gonna work. Whenever it does this, it's always about to do something wrong. Yep, look how wrong. This filled in. Didn't want that to happen. Sometimes you just gotta kind of rough in the shadows and then it becomes more obvious where they need to go. This looks weird, but you know, this makes it easier to color if you can trick your mind for a few minutes and try to still see the right thing. You don't have to clean up as much stuff. Oh, that's kind of easy. Start with that and then rough in the shadows. See how that works. I like how that is. Alright, let's check this out. See if this looks good. Look on the correct monitor. Not bad, not bad, not bad. So now with all this light in there, the shadows aren't looking so crazy. Skin might be a little orangey. We can also tone this down. I don't really like that, no. I would rather make her shadows darker. I think once we have the computer screen here, that'll probably help with that. Let's see. But if I were to make this darker and like more red. Yeah, I like that. We'll keep that. Let's clean this up by her. I get confused about which one paints the shadow and which one paints the dark color, which one paints the light color. Alright, we gotta do the shading on her eye whites. So we're going to set that to multiply, and we're going to see if this is too much. Probably somewhere around there. It's not bad. Hello? Uh-oh. What layer are her pupils? Because what? Hello? I bet it's the... I bet we got some bleed over here. Yep, that's where it is. I don't even know if y'all could see these little artifacts on her eyelashes, but I don't like it. Cool. I'm liking this. Alright, so we've got that one pretty much colored. I don't know about this area right here. I think that either this is either going to be like a smoother line here, and then there'll probably be something like that. Cool. Alright, let's do a little subtle makeup on here. And this isn't because Roz would necessarily wear makeup, but it just helps add a little, like, femininity. The key is to not overdo it. Not sure if she needs like the full like strength of this highlight. Depends on how bright the monitor is. We'll leave it there for now. All right, so we've got 2 panels fully covered. Never heard any votes on the texture, so we'll leave that for a time where it's not going to eat up all that. And we'll probably just do this one here. This one's very similar to, I think that's wrong. I think she's only wearing one earring because I love to make my life difficult. And it's in that ear. So it's that side ear. So not here. So let's fix that real quick. What happened was these scenes, I've been trying to figure out the 180 rule in this whole scene. What the 180 rule is, it's a cinematography term for if 2 people are talking to each other, the camera never breaks the 180 line between their faces. So that's why you see a lot of like over the shoulder shots. It'll be like over this person's shoulder here, and then over that person's shoulder here. So like it's never breaking this line. Like you're either here or here, like anywhere in between here. Because if you go over here and you kind of flip who's on the left, who's on the right to the viewers, it's just really disorienting. It's hard to remember like where in space this person was versus this person, like who's talking right now. It's just very disorienting for the viewer. So that's why you try to avoid, not even try to, it's crucial that you don't break the 180 rule. Absolutely crucial. So we are gonna, and so anyway, I've been flipping these scenes back and forth. I've just been flipping Roz here and there because I was trying to figure out where she was, because she approaches one place, they talk, she turns around to work on her computer, and then they talk, she turns around to talk. It's a complicated scene, and so trying to balance all of that. Let's put this on a vector layer. Cool. Hello? Yep. In Clip Studio Paint, when you make circles, you have to like confirm them because you can rotate them, but when it's a pure circle, you can't tell that you're rotating it, and so it's like, why can't I do anything? Why is my computer locked up? But it just wants you to click to confirm that yes, that's where you wanted to put. Now see, I didn't put the eyelashes here. I really should figure out what I'm doing and be consistent. I could delete these lines and see like what looks better. Too narrow. Hold up. Oh. Okay, we got a couple of things here. All I can think of now is how in the James Bond film where the car goes into the too narrow alleyway on one side and comes out the other side. I'd have to see that scene, but that may be they may have broken the 180 rule. If it was confusing to you, they might have broken it. And Smashy asks, how long did it take you to plan out how to shoot that complicated scene? I've been like modifying it ever since I finished the storyboard, which was back in like October, till now. I like keep messing with this scene. I think I've got it now, but it was just like, I probably switched it 4 times. Like, especially these 2 scenes, I've just like constantly flipped. Like, okay, she's this way. Okay, now she's this way. Okay, now she's this way. And even this scene with the hands, like I'd flip those this way, this way, this way. Hopefully I've got it now and it's gonna work out. Deepest Gray, Doctor Deepest Gray. If you happen to have a handy YouTube clip of that James Bond scene, magically, you could drop it in the chat. Big ask. It goes in on just the left side wheels and comes out on the right side wheels. Yeah, if it's not the... Well, I mean, if it wasn't the same set of wheels, that's wrong for sure. But, like... Yeah, that's... They probably messed up. Okay, so she's turning her head, so like this will move this way. This will be nice. I'll get some good like overlap here. It's pretty good. Yeah, I designed these earrings and they're stupid. They're like, they've got like binary on them. It's just like, it's like stupid detail that no one's ever gonna see, and unless you've got like a really close up of Roz's face, and so it's just sometimes you just too much detail. Robert, come on. It's not really 180, but like you're in the wrong side. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of ways you can mess up continuity, and you do any of them, and it people are gonna go, hey, wait, what? Did I really do that on a none? Okay, fine. Cool. All right, good news again. We've already done this, so we're gonna collapse these line layers. You know which Bond film that was, Deepest Gray? And again, this is gonna look super weird until we put our background in there. So, but we don't. It's not really important that we calibrate whether these colors are right, because we know they are, because we just used them. So they can look weird for a minute, but we don't have to worry because we know they're right. Is that a stray marker? That's something that I didn't do over here. That's fine. It's fine. No. Oh. How much did I do on the... Oh, thank goodness. See, I told you I do it every page. Coloring on the wrong layer. Alright, well, let's fix this line real quick. This is from one of the times where I flipped it. But her hair would probably keep going here. A little overlap line there. More jacket. Got jacket there. We've got hair. Diamonds are forever. There was a time where I wanted to watch through all the Bond movies, but I failed. I'm not really like a solo movie watching person. I love watching movies with people, and I didn't have anyone to watch Bond movies with at the time. I'll have to see if Amalia likes Bond movies. She likes action movies, so she might go for it. But that was kind of one of my like movie marathon goals. Like, I enjoy James Bond movies. I would like to see all of them. Yeah, you know, I bet she would go for it, because there was a time we were watching the new ones, the Daniel Craig ones, and we watched all of those, and that was fun. I'll just get her on board with the classics and walk through those. We're working on the office too. I don't know if you see back there, I got my shelf, and if I get this out of the way, I've got my manga there, and we're gonna start displaying some stuff back there, so that'll be fun. I've had a lot of fun decorating this room. Last couple Brosnan ones I might have seen, because I saw what's it called, one of the ones I think I might have seen one with you in one of the Brosnan ones in theaters, like The World's Not Enough or something. Am I making that up? Oops, see, there it is again, the wrong layer. I'm gonna back up a couple spaces in case I did something else on the wrong layer. What they got going on here? I thought so, but I could be making that up. That was a long time ago. But I know I saw one of the Brosnan ones in theaters. I don't know if it was Tomorrow Never Dies or The World's Not Enough. Whichever one where they were going to like North Korea or something. And someone, the guy never sleeps. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Oh, I remember that. I'm on the wrong dang layer again. Okay, hold up. Okay. Now we got some more line leaks over here. Uh-oh, we got a little, that was a gross overreaction, but we've got a leak here. There we go. Get the base for the tongue here. don't think I wanted North Korea. Okay, I wonder who I went with to see that then. I'm always torn if I should put eyelashes on the line layer or something else. I'm gonna put them on the pupil layer. I always like seem to regret it if I put it on the line layer. There's like something I need to change and it's baked in there with the lines. And of course now I'm coloring on the lines again. Has anyone played the N64 game, not GoldenEye, but Tomorrow Never Dies, the N64 game, which was exactly GoldenEye, but they added a grappling hook, and so multiplayer was pretty much your Spider-Man with guns, and that was the best game. That was the most fun ever. My Spotify just randomly skipped the song it was doing and played another one. That was rude. Alright, so we can do our eyes. We can do our eyes. And then we probably need to put our background back in to calibrate our eyes because we need to color this. We haven't done that in our lighting environment yet. Yeah, it does. If you could find a copy of that, it is excellent. Other than the grappling hook, it was total trash. It was just like copy and paste GoldenEye, not any better or anything else, but there was a grappling hook, and you could literally just like Spider-Man through buildings. Like, it was excellent, absolutely excellent. Let me see if I can. No, I'm not gonna. Oh, we already did this. I hate that I have to like do like highlights for everything and then come back and do shadows for the eyes. Like, that's kind of annoying, but I don't want to like completely redo everything and have it not match. Woohoo, nope. That was not closed off properly. That's what happens if you don't rope off the area. Well, it'll color everything until the next next area. Next change of color it detects. Give me a second real quick. I'm going to fix this. It's just a little too wide compared to the other eye. Or is it? Yeah, I think that's a little better. This flip canvas feature is really crucial for finding your mistakes. Alright, I'll shave off a little of this eye background here. This. Cool, that looks better. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. I've got 3 and none of them work. Alright, we're going to turn off our for other layers to get our background back here. Now we can see kind of what we think this color is going to be. Yeah, what do you know what happened to your, oh, you just don't have one. Mine, they always it would always like the reset button would stick and it would just like you'd be playing and it just reset the game. That's not bad. I think it needs to be a little more, a little pinker, a little more saturated, a little darker. It's not bad. Yeah, I'm sure you could just like take out the thing and I need to throw a retro gaming party and just fix the 64s and find that copy of The World Is Not Enough. Tomorrow Never Dies, whatever one it was. Cool. Alright, so we've got our flats in. You replaced some caps on your old P4 motherboard, but it kept randomly crashing. Turns out I didn't mess up, but the fan on my RGT was dying and causing... Oh no! That's what we're here for. Heck yeah, Smashy, let's make it happen. Hey! We need a N64 fixing party. Closely followed by The World Is Not Enough playing party. Alright, let's go back over here and grab our color. Oh, it's 9. I was having so much fun. I didn't even realize we had such a great crowd here tonight too. All right, well we've got two N64 parties on the books, and we got two completely finished panels. So I called that a success. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. We had awesome activity in the chat. Always like that. It makes me feel like I'm not alone here. And appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me, watching me do some art. We do this every Monday night from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And we have a Radiant Collapse available now. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, we have over there in a box, we have chapter 1s available as well as the collector's edition. So head on over to radiantcollapse.com and you can pick up one of those. Otherwise, hope to see you guys back next Monday. And as always, you can follow me on all my socials. I'm a Radiant Collapse on Facebook and Instagram, Radiant Collapse on Twitter.